Good evening and welcome to the program Transforming Agriculture in Nigeria, a program sponsored by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development to showcase the richness of Nigeria's agricultural sector and the effort of government to diversify the nation's economy via agriculture. Most farmers and other stakeholders in the agricultural sector see agriculture as an occupation that they inherited from their forefathers, while others see it as an occupation for the uneducated and those residing in rural areas. The reality, however, is that agriculture is a business. But what is the effort of government towards driving this reality home and making more Nigerians embrace agriculture as business? This will be our focus in today's episode of the program. But before then, we have some news stories from the ministry. I'm your regular guide, Gabriel Ojile. Keep watching.
What we did here is mechanized.
It's back to land, back to agriculture.
I can supply the milk factories for milk.
That's the new norm for employment and for wealth creation. Get your piece of the action.
Before farming, we will spread the manure.
There to take on agribusiness.
They have been working in terms of making sure they give us new breeds.
Seize the opportunity you have been waiting for. Watch Transforming Agriculture in Nigeria, showing every Friday at 8:30 p.m. on the NTA network service.
In our diary tonight, Agric Ministry to build 10 large-scale rice mills across the nation. Also, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development trains farmers on zero-fly bag storage facility. Details shortly. In an effort to boost self-sufficiency in rice production in Nigeria, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has embarked on building of 10 large-scale rice mills across the country. The Director of Agribusiness and Market Development of the ministry, Emmanuel Akinfemi Olaleye, disclosed this in his office in Abuja during an interview with our correspondent. Olaleye stated that the building of the 10 large-scale rice mills are in progress in Kwali Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory, Suleja, in Niger State, Kaduna, Kano, Jigawa, Adama, Bayelsa, and Ekiti states, among others. Olaleye added that the project upon completion will be handed over to the private sector on loan basis with a repayment plan of 15 years.
Government is supporting rice processing on a large scale level and is part of creating business for people because the 10 mills is a PPP arrangement, private partnership program, which when completed will be handed over to investors, 10 investors that we continue to, that we own the mills because it's on loan, but government is assisting in establishment because of the cost intensiveness of the mills.
In a bid to prevent post-harvest losses and enhance safer storage techniques, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development recently organized a 3-day training workshop for beans farmers to promote the use of zero-fly storage bag as a much better alternative to the use of chemicals for storage. Zero-fly bag is an insecticide-incorporated woven propylene bag developed for post-harvest storage of agricultural produce such as maize, sorghum, wheat, millet, beans, and which prevents damaging pest infestations. The training workshop, which took place in Kadakpe, Goshen City in Nasarawa State, had about 45 beans farmers in attendance, and they were drawn from 3 states, which include Kogi, Nasarawa, and Niger. Speaking at the workshop, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Ernest Afolabi Omahihe, who was represented by the Director, Agribusiness and Market Development of the ministry, Emmanuel Akinfemi Olaleye, urged farmers to take advantage of the support from the ministry to learn quality and standard storage methods of beans that would meet both local and international quality and safety requirements. The Permanent Secretary added that using the bags will mean more income for the farmers and increase their contributions to the agricultural sector, the national GDP, and boost foreign exchange earnings. It has always been said that government has no business doing business. What government should involve itself is in the creation of a enabling environment for business to thrive. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, in its effort to make agriculture a viable business venture in Nigeria, created a Department of Agribusiness and Market Development with a mandate to create an enabling environment for business opportunities to thrive along the agricultural value chain. How is this department faring along the lines of its mandate? This will be our focus in our next segment, Records of the FDA. Sit back and watch.
Agriculture provides employment for nearly 70% of Nigeria's population. This comprises farmers, processors, marketers, and other stakeholders in the agricultural sector. Making not just subsistent living from agriculture has opened up a new vista for quite a number of people and a whole new avenue with a lot of business opportunities. This is what is known as agribusiness.
Agribusiness is the business aspect of farming and farming-related activities. And farming-related activity includes production, processing, marketing, and distribution of agricultural produce. So it's all encompassing, and eventually you observe that agribusiness remains very strategic to food and nutrition security, to income generation, to inclusive growth of the economy.
To further develop the potential of agriculture as a profitable business in Nigeria, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has a Department of Agribusiness and Market Development. This department is subdivided into four, namely Agribusiness Support Division, Agro-Processing Division, Agro-Industrial Development Division, and Marketing and Finance Division. The department is charged with the mandate to, among other things, facilitate agricultural investment and market development through collection, compilation, and distribution of market data on agricultural produce.
Facilitation of value addition through processing of agricultural produce. Another role is also facilitating fabrication, local fabrication of processing equipment, which are relevant for processing of different types of agricultural produce. Another role we play is in the development of markets.
We are saddled with the responsibility of meeting agribusiness investors and then linking them up to our local or international investors in Nigeria or outside Nigeria. One of the core mandates in this regard is that since we are into agribusiness and we do not want to take agriculture as it's the way it was in the olden days. Now currently from 2013, we've been talking about agribusiness, and I think that was the time that agribusiness and market development department came into existence. Since that time, the focus has been that the farmers should be enlightened on how to do agriculture as a business and no longer just a way of life. They should now see it as something that they can profit from.
One of the policies of government that supports agriculture as a business is the Agriculture Promotion Policy. The policy and its implementation is targeted at creating an enabling environment and enlightenment for farmers and other stakeholders that practice agriculture as a business. It entails ensuring standard and increased production, good record keeping of income and expenditure, and ensure they break even like any other business.
Let me start with the Agricultural Promotion Policy, which is a policy of government that spans the period of 2016 to 2020. And the focus of that policy is to address limited food production and also look at the area of adding quality to food, to agricultural produce, and standardization that will enable the produce to meet export standard. And when you look at what we do here in terms of supporting food production, when you look at what we do in the area of food processing, when processing, when capacity of agricultural produce processing is expanded, it means more food will be produced.
There are several factors militating against the prospect of agriculture as a business. These include lack of storage facilities, access to market, lack of awareness to take agriculture as a business, lack of finance, lack of processing facilities, among others. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, through its Agribusiness and Market Development Department, is working assiduously to remove these obstacles.
We establish farmers' market, build farmer market infrastructure. We also embark on the establishment of agro-industrial estates across the country. So we still also have one-stop shop agro-input centers where the farmers can have everything in one, as a one-stop for their agricultural activities.
Besides building of markets and rural roads, the ministry also supports farmers with processing facilities to prevent post-harvest losses, as well as tricycles to move agricultural produce to the market.
You also look at the aspect of supporting rural areas with cottage processing facilities. We make available to them a cassava processing machine. We make available to them palm oil processing machine. We make available to them maize shelling machine. We make available to them groundnut oil extraction machine. We make available to them diverse machines and equipment that process agricultural produce to reduce wastages. Because when there is no facility for the processing of this produce, there is a whole lot of wastages going on. And of course, we give out tricycles. And what is the role of tricycle? Tricycle is to convey agricultural produce immediately they are produced at the farm gate to the nearest aggregation center or the nearest village market.
Another area which Agribusiness and Market Development Department is ensuring the transformation of agriculture into a viable business is enlightenment of farmers and other stakeholders in the agricultural value chain to do feasibility studies. This is one of the requirements for accessing finance from the government to develop their agricultural businesses.
The major constraint that we have in this investment opportunity is that, like the farmers, they are constrained by not having enough capital. And that is why I think the principles or the policy has brought a Bank of Agriculture to be under Agribusiness and Market Development Department. In my few years of being in the department, we've received so many applications, proposals, requesting financial support for them to expand or scale up on their businesses. But the department herself is not to give out loan or credit to farmers. All the while we've been directing them to the appropriate quarters.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, through the Agribusiness and Market Development Department, also in November 2021 organized a national agribusiness stakeholders and investors summit where it engaged key players in agribusiness sector. During this summit, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Muhammad Mahmood Abubakar, interacted with stakeholders and had first-hand knowledge of their challenges. He reassured them of the government's commitment to address their challenges and make agricultural business thrive better in Nigeria.
Government is committed to industrializing the agricultural sector for increased productivity, efficiency, and competitiveness across local and international markets. Agriculture is now being acknowledged and promoted as a business and not a development program, away from the primordial perspective and able to sufficiently satisfy the socio-economic needs of its practitioners and grow the nation's economy.
The ministry is also supporting farmers and agribusiness investors to get tax holidays and promote international treaties that would enhance Nigeria's potentials for agribusiness across the globe.
The federal government has deliberately designed agricultural investment incentives to support high-level private sector participation. While some of these incentives are in form of tax holiday, exemptions, and reliefs, there are many that leverage on specific government policies, performances of companies, as well as relevant international investment treaties.
The program is transforming agriculture in Nigeria, and we have been discussing the need to see agriculture as a business and the effort of the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development to remove every obstacle militating against agricultural business in Nigeria. Apart from building of markets, roads, providing equipment and financial support, as well as capacity building initiatives, the Ministry of Agriculture also has a public-private partnership unit working tirelessly to involve the private sector for effective and efficient utilization of some of the agricultural facilities of the ministry. In our next segment, Partnership for Development, we are focusing on the impact of public-private partnership arrangement in making agriculture a profitable business towards the overall objective of food security and income generation. Keep watching.
The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development over the years has a lot of agricultural facilities built to enhance agricultural production. Some of these facilities have not attained efficient and maximum utilization over time. The Public-Private Partnership Unit of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development was created to facilitate partnership with the private sector to utilize those facilities for the proper development of the agricultural sector in Nigeria.
Basically, we are focusing on the area that has to do with prioritizing government projects for maximum performance. We are also focusing on attracting private investment into creating and running facilities for government.
This mandate also includes processing expression of interest for investors and making sure that what the investors proposed come to pass, making their dreams to be realized. And also, don't forget that the purpose of PPP is to leverage on the investors' fund, the deployment of their own fund, to help government because of the debt portfolio of the government. The government is wary of debt portfolio, and the government is trying also to rejig the non-oil sector, which is mainly the agricultural sector.
Government partnership agreements with the private sector to make agricultural businesses thrive come under different models. One of such is build, operate, and transfer arrangement. Under this arrangement, private investors are expected to build and utilize the facilities and make financial returns to government for a particular period, after which the facility becomes the property of the federal government. The government also engages in joint venture arrangements on specific projects. Under such arrangements, the revenue is shared based on the investment. In another partnership model, the government, through the ministry, builds some facilities and hands over to the private sector to manage on lease agreement. Some of these facilities include 17 silos across the Federation, Tiga Dam in Kano, livestock facilities in Sokoto, Ilaile Market in South, among others.
We have been able to procure lease agreements, brought a lot of facilities that were underutilized, that were underperforming, some completely abandoned, into full operation. I could mention a few, like in Kano, we have what they call the Tiga Dam. As of today, it has been handed over to a private investor by name the Big Aquaculture, and we're expecting them to bring that facility to world class, and it's going to greatly enhance fish production and fish processing, and that will reduce government expenditure on importation of fish products.
Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development partnership arrangement on these facilities ensures that they are made very attractive to private investors so that the social responsibility of government is delivered to citizens.
In the Ministry of Agriculture, there are a lot of incentives put in place to attract investors into the agricultural sector. Let me give you one example. Sometimes when we have agreements, we put moratorium there. Moratorium is a period where you don't pay the lease concession fee. You may be using it to rehabilitate or to find your feet. So that's one kind of incentive. We have tractors, we have other equipment that are not sold at the market price, but given to farmers at affordable price.
The Public-Private Partnership Unit is not an island of its own. It also collaborates with the Federal Executive Council, Bureau of Public Procurement, among other stakeholders.
When we talk about public-private partnership, first we look at investors from 2 points: the domestic investor and the foreign direct investment. Those two are core investors. Then don't forget that this PPP arrangement is not, there are regulatory agencies that also structure the arrangements, like the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, the ICRC, like the Bureau of Public Procurement, like the Bureau of Public Enterprises. Those are agencies that also structure this PPP arrangement in a way that government will not incur contingent liability, and the investor also, whether domestic or foreign, will not carry unnecessary burden. The purpose of public-private partnership is to reduce the burden on the public. By public, I mean the federal government. And the purpose of bringing the private investor is for the private investor to carry most of the risk, and then to also make profits. We are not bringing them into the system for them to incur debt.
There are lots of investment opportunities in the Nigerian agricultural sector for both local and foreign investors, and the ministry is willing to support and play by the rules of the game for mutual benefits.
In Nigeria is a very good land, a profitable land, that we have good weather to support agricultural production. We have friendly people that are ready to partner even with the foreign investors. We have youths that the foreign investors can get engaged, that they will not need to bring people from their country to work for them. And then that would bring a kind of a reduction in their cost of production of whatever thing they're doing. So Nigeria is a very good land for any investors to come in. And we solicit that the foreign investors, they should not be afraid to come to Nigeria to invest.
The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development remains resolute to remove every obstacle militating against agricultural business in Nigeria. Join hands with the government to grow your investment in the sector. This is why we call it a day on this episode. Join us again, same time, same station next week as we take another angle of agricultural transformation in Nigeria. Until then, bye for now.